make it, do it, makes us harder, better, faster, stronger. More than power, never, ever, after work is over. Harder, better, faster, stronger. Working harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Working harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Working harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Working harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Working harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger.
Tomorrow night, 7:30, Under the Lights, Bobby Dodd. Looking forward to it.
Work it, make it, do it, makes us harder, better, faster, stronger. Harder, better, faster, stronger. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. Work it never over. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Work it harder, do it faster. More than ever, our work is never over. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over.
All right, what is going on, everyone? Hope you're having a great, what is this, Wednesday night? I was talking to C-Dog on the phone earlier today, and I was like, yeah, man, we'll do a show maybe tomorrow night. And he's like, well, that's when the game is. I don't even know what day it is today. But hey, I know what day it is now. Let's go through the chat. Hope you guys are doing well. Bryce Man says, I was wondering if there would be a show tonight. Well, wonder no longer. There is a show tonight. Let me turn that off. Bryce Man says, let's go. Let's go. Mike Porter, yo. What's going on, Mike Porter? M.A., what song is this? This is Trap City remix of Bigger, Faster, Stronger, which was originally done by Daft Punk, if you're talking about the first song. Second song, also a remix of DJ Snake and Lil Jon. John Burns, as always, says, remember, winning ain't free. We're going to talk about that tonight, actually. Winning ain't free. Send a check, even if it's only $100. We need 40,000 fans sending a check every quarter. That would be $16 million annually. I saw someone commented. He had put that as a comment on one of my videos, and someone said, Georgia Tech should send John Burns a check. And I think they're right. I think they're absolutely right. Zach Jones says, yo, what's going on? Michael Butler says, go Jackets. GT Caleb says, damn, this song hits. Well, I was your DJ for tonight. Maybe I'll start doing weddings soon. Hire WreckTalk to be your DJ at your wedding. And I can tell you all the worst advice as far as maintaining a marriage. Graham Boyd says, let's go. It's almost game day. Guys, there's nothing quite like a night game under the lights in Atlanta. It's going to be our last home game of the season, and we didn't get that many. That's something else I was talking to C-Dog about earlier. Man, we really, as fans, Georgia Tech fans, got shafted this year because, let me look at our schedule. I mean, how many home games did we have at Bobby Dodd? One was played at the Benz. One was played in Ireland that counted as a home game, which I'm still salty about. We played Georgia State at home. We played VMI at home. We played Duke at home. And we played Miami at home. We've had 4 home games. This will be the second one under the lights. So, we need to pack out the Dodd, by the way. If you're a part of the Discord, every so often, even more frequent than ever so often, if you need a ticket, we can probably find one for you. If you want to go, you don't have a ticket, odds are we can find one for you. One guy in particular is pretty good about saying, hey, I've got 4, 6 extra tickets. Can you find them for someone? Yeah, we can find them. We had 4 that I gave away, I think Monday. I sent 2 to someone. I think this is going to be a second Georgia Tech game ever. So congratulations to you, sir. And then one, Josh, who went with us up to North Carolina. How am I doing? I'm doing well. MA says Wolfpack going down. I feel like I know MA. Maybe he changed his name. Bryce, man, I want to say we blow NC State out, but I know Tech better than that. Win by 10 probably. We'll talk about it tonight. I don't think the goal for Georgia Tech or the game plan is just to score bukus of points. I think the game plan is going to be control time of possession, keep their offense off the field, and win. Take the shortest path to victory. Jackets 21, Wolfpack 10. Mayhem Matthew, I have not heard that, and if that is true, that is heartbreaking. Obviously, met BVD multiple times, and I hope it ain't true. Well, who else do we have here? Anthony Fain, let's go. Pack the Dodd. I'll be there. Let's do another poll tonight. I think we had maybe 40, 60 saying they were going to the game when we did our last show. So let's do this. Let's do a poll. Start a poll. How many of you will be at the Dodd? tomorrow night. Now, if you didn't know, Macho Rex called out the buzzsaw. If you don't know, I have a good friend, wrestling personality, goes by the name of Macho Rex. Definitely not me. That's easily confused. We're two different people. And you have the buzzsaw. That is the wrestling personality that C-Dog knows. Well, Macho Rex straight up called the buzzsaw out. Did a diss track on him. I don't think he's done a diss, or I did the diss track for Macho Rex. And he's yet to respond. I've been told that a response will be there. Now, I will not be able to stay for the game, and I don't think C-Dog will either, but the buzzsaw and Macho Rex will be at the game. So if you needed any more reason to be there tomorrow night, there you go. I know that question doesn't make sense. Who's going tomorrow night? I said how many of you? Just if you're going, click yes. You know that I'm borderline dyslexic. Leave me alone about it. Travis Cole, I'm sorry I didn't respond to that last email, but you're not the only one. So people have been asking, look, I know you'll be there. I'll be there early. I might try and go to the Sports Center thing. I don't know. But I'll be there hours before the game. I'm sure me or Macho Rex and C-Dog or the Buzzsaw will be at the block party. And then we'll probably enter around the north end zone closest to campus. So if just look around campus, you'll see us there. You'll see Macho or the Buzzsaw. 9-4, baby. Let's go. We could go 9-4 with a bowl win. We could beat NC State. We could beat Georgia. And sorry I missed the super chat. Rambling on with Zach Jones. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Says Jacket's gonna be feasting on Wolf this time tomorrow. That's right. Georgia Tech's full of itself. Still hungry. What is this? I can do a goal. That's pretty cool. I can do a goal of 5 super chats of $2 or more in the next 30 minutes. Share how you'll celebrate. I tell you what we'll do. It's broken down to 1, 5, 10, 15, 20. How about 5 super chats of $5 or more? And we will react to the Brent Key press conference, which I usually do for members. So 5 super chats of $5 or more, we'll react to the latest Brent Key interview that someone said was really good. Holy crap, I've made a show on time. Yes, you have, Coffee Killer. Graham Boyd says, won't be there tomorrow, unfortunately. But we have the game on TV in the kitchen at work. Y'all give the Wolfpack hell tomorrow. We definitely will. Gumball Falcon, hey Rec, my dad texted you in C-Dog. I heard in your video that you are in section 106, but could you maybe text my dad the specific details? I don't usually give my number out. I don't want to put you on the spot. I don't know unless I gave you a ticket. Maybe it gave you my number, but I don't have your dad's number. Reach out to the email and we'll try and do something. Can WreckTalk and Macho Rex go to the game at the same time? I mean, they could, but I've got somewhere to be during the game time, so they could, but they won't. Coming tomorrow, I'm bringing a friend. Travis Cole says he'll be there around 6:30ish. Macho Rex looks nothing like you. I doubt you could grow a beard as manly and magnificent as that. I can't. It grows in patches. I could not grow a beard like that. Chase Linton wasn't ever going to Tech. We're going to talk about that, actually. I don't think that's true. Georgia and Rutgers had him at $1 million for 4 years. Don't know about that. I don't know what they offered him. I have not had the chance to watch the latest short. We've got 2 donos of the 5 we need of $5 or more to react to Brent Key tonight. Coffee Killer says, there you go, LOL. And then Rambling On says, here's one for 5. Donate, you broke MFers. I'm not calling you broke. I'm just saying, if you do that, we'll react to it. I meant he texted you on Twitter. Sorry, I should have been. Yeah, okay, cool. I keep my anonymity. There's another 5. Here's 3. Only need 2 more. So let's get into it tonight. Can I share my screen? Only need 2 more super chats of $5 or more. John Burns with the 4th $5 super chat. Appreciate it, Mr. Burns. He didn't even need anything read. He just said, here you go. Is what it is. Okay. So this is probably not the best way to do that. And there's 5. Boom. So 3 of them from Zach Jones. We'll react to the Brent Key press conference tonight. Maybe we should go naked. Boom. Not literally naked. I call this the naked scene. Not my center screen. That is the screen we want. We will blow this up and then put me in front of it. As always, as is tradition. By the way, for all of us that were ready to jump off a cliff, you know, around this point in the season, right? Around here. Any reasonable Georgia Tech fan had us at 7 wins, didn't they? We could easily get to 7 wins against NC State. Now, I'm not saying overlook NC State. Not saying that at all. What I'm saying is we're kind of on track for where we should be in a rebuild, right? We're kind of on track. I think Georgia Tech's still a 9 or a 9.5 point over NC State. Did a video about it. Statistically, they're nothing special. But look, no one thought we were going to beat Miami. NC State has a lot to play for. We can't just show up and think we're going to, hey, we can rest Haynes King, beat them. I'm just telling you. Now, big news here. Georgia Tech signs, I believe, the first 5-star of 2026. I'm going to butcher his name, Mustafa Diop. Overtime Elite must be like IMG Academy as it is the basketball. But we don't talk a lot about basketball on this channel. But Dante Stoudemire's doing work. What was last year's class? It was like 23, wasn't it? I think it was like 23rd in the country. We signed a kid in that class from this Overtime Elite. Number 1 center in the country. Number 1 center in the country. Signs Georgia Tech basketball. Might give me a reason to get excited about basketball. Appreciate it, Josh Pittman. He says, Josh Pittman says, thank you for the tickets, my man. Appreciate the $2, buddy. Appreciate the $2. Damon. What do I keep saying? It's right in front of me. What do I keep saying instead of Damon? Dante? I don't know what else. Stan Tucci, Dante. I don't know what these guys' names are. Their moms need to name them something I can remember better. But yeah, Damon Stoudemire doing work. And I guarantee you, big 6'10" kid. I mean, we threw this kid some money. So shout out to Damon Stoudemire. I didn't get to talk to him, but he came in the suite I was in when we watched Georgia State. And if that ever happens again, he might just kick my ass for not knowing his name. Appreciate the $5 from Travis Cole. Says, Macho Wreck, drop an elbow from the goal post on Mr. Wolf. The Dusty Rhodes elbow. The son of a plumber. I didn't have a silver spoon in my mouth when I was growing up like you did, Ric Flair. We've hit the goal, by the way. I appreciate the super chats. And you can keep them rolling, but we have hit the goal. Another $5 from Josh says, react. You made the After Swarm purge. Congrats. Appreciate it, Mr. Bowhunter. Appreciate it, Mr. Bowhunter. So, let's look at this class. I made the cut. Overall 26, this is on 247, which for some reason is the only recruiting service out of the big 3 that has Josh Petty as a 5-star. Now, did we need to sign Is that the biggest need we have on the team? No, it's not the biggest need we have on the team, but it's like the Joker says in The Dark Knight. It's about sending a message. And we sent a message with this one, and it couldn't have came at a better time. We were fighting with Florida State for him. We opened up in week 0 with Florida State, got a big recruiting win early. Now, we're still fighting for some of these other kids. I'm sure, we're fighting for Penson, Garrett. I don't know about JP Powell. I should message JP Powell. I interviewed him on the channel. He's been upgraded now to a 4-star. I'll message him on Twitter tonight and see how he's doing. Hassan Hoodle. Now the big one here, Demola Adenjuan. A lot of people, a lot of big names coming after that kid. And if I had to guess, we're going to lose some kids on here. We're going to gain some kids on here. And even with, like, the thing is, I think I have it. I don't have Linton. Chase Linton was a kid we were really going after. Someone earlier said, Georgia Tech was never really in the mix. Georgia Tech was absolutely in the mix. And that's the other big thing. And it's going to sound like moral victory. And I guess it kind of is. But I've never seen Georgia Tech do things on the recruiting trail that they're doing right now. Like, remember when Brent Key was like first came on staff and they asked about what it was like recruiting against Georgia Tech? And, keep in mind, Brent Key came from Alabama. And he's like, look, I haven't recruited against Georgia Tech in a long time. That's a problem. All of a sudden now, Georgia Tech's really gunning and is in the mix. Oh, is my audio choppy? Hold on. Or is it just Josh? Let me end the poll. Okay, it's just you, Josh. 66% of you of 39 say you're going. 33 are not. It's good to know. But we just haven't been in the mix for kids. And we absolutely were in the mix for Linton. We absolutely were in the mix for that kid. And that's not the end of the road there, right? Yes, he committed. He hard committed to Georgia. Who knows with the portal? Who knows what happens with the portal? And who knows? I mean, anything can happen between now and the early signing period and the signing period in February. Anything can happen. So, good things happening. And look, locking down, like, who was it we locked down earlier that said that he shut his recruiting down? Kevin P. Kevin P. shuts his recruiting down. A kid that South Carolina was gunning hard for, right? So we're beating out SEC schools for some of these recruits and Norris. Guys, like, don't let that be lost on you. That has not happened at Georgia Tech ever, that we're beating out SECs. I mean, I say ever, since, the 60s, 70s, 80s, something like that. And the other hilarious thing is, like, once, and this is just the nature of the beast, we identify talent in a kid, and then Georgia, Ohio State, Notre Dame start offering and really going after them. All of a sudden, they're elevated to a 4-star, and you're right, they just moved Norris to a 4-star on Rivals. So let's see, on 247, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 4-stars and 1 5-star. Do I have Rivals pulled up? I do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 4-stars there, and some of it might not be updated. Did I lose you guys? No, I did not. Okay, good. That was just my browser. So yeah, like I said, I'll reach out to JP Powell, see what he's thinking. Now, I also, do we have any D1 size running backs committed? Well, let's look at the running backs. JP Powell, 5'11", 185 pounds, is a D1 size running back. He's going to put on some weight. I mean, you won't believe the muscle. You look at a kid, well, you will if you just look at him. You look at a kid in high school to his junior year and just how much muscle mass they're able to put on at a D1 weightlifting program. He'll blow up to 195, 200 probably by the time he's done at Tech. JP Powell's a D1, and then there's Isaiah Groves. Where is he? 5'11", 185. Now, if they're listed 5'11" here, I'm assuming they're probably 5'10", 5'9 and a half, something like that. I don't know if when you guys played football, but you were always listed taller and bigger than you actually were. Let's go through the chat real quick here. Right here. Joshua Kent, welcome to the WreckTalk member. What's going on, buddy? How we doing, Luke? We're doing well tonight. Richard Popkin, you're a member and you're not modded up. Everyone who's a member gets a mod. Congratulations, you're now a moderator. Joshua Kent is also not a moderator and is a member. You are now a member. I think he's done a good job with recruiting. It's twofold. One, people sleep on how good of a recruiter Brent Key is. Again, I remember when he was hired, and he's like, man, he got me fired up. I was ready to recruit. He said, man, recruiting's war. Recruiting's year round. Recruiting's every day. So you have that kind of guy. And to me, the thing with Brent Key is he's a guy that has the old school get after their ass coaching mentality that you need to get these upset victories over, Miami. It's the thing that we liked about Paul Johnson, right? I agree with Tantor. As far as just preparing a team to play, Paul Johnson was one of the best. The recruiting is what killed us with him, though. Brent Key's the best of both worlds. He understands what it takes to win on the field and prepare a team and not coddle players, pat them on the ass and all that, along with what it takes to be successful in 2024 in college football, what it takes to recruit, which the number one thing is money. That's the other side of it, is J Bat. J Bat is probably the one I'm worried the most about getting poached from Georgia Tech. If J Bat can raise $300 million out of nowhere, like one day I just turned around and it's like, hey, did you know J Bat just raised $300 million? And I'm like, hold on, let me pinch myself. Am I dreaming? If he can do that at Georgia Tech, let's say, I don't know, you're one of these SEC schools. What could he do for you? Oh, you need the lyrics to my song. Anyways, Bryce Man with a $10 super chat. Appreciate it, buddy. Says, hi, Rec. Any chance you could find me 2 tickets to the Tech game? I fully understand if you can't. I would just love so much to go. Never have been to a night game. I don't have any tickets on hand. What I will say is if you're listening and you can't go, send me your tickets and I'll make sure Bryce gets them. I might just be able to get you one. Would it be okay if I only had one? I actually do think someone asked me if I could do something with one ticket and I didn't respond to them. So if you need to, I get it. I might be able to get you one. J-Bat is the best thing that's happened to the Flats in years. J-Bat, yeah, J-Bat's the number one I'm worried about getting poached. I would say Buster Faulkner. He's probably the most likely to leave, be the next one to get hired away. GT, say the thing, John. Say the line. I'm not as worried about losing our OC. Obviously, it wouldn't be great. I want Buster Faulkner to be here for as long as we can have him. Should I give you my email, or I guess how do I join the Discord? There's a link in the description. You have to download the Discord program, and then you have to, there's a link in the Discord for it. There we go. Say it, John. But yeah, we have an OC in waiting. We have an OC basically in Chris Winkie, who I can't spell his name to save my life, by the way. Joshua Kent's also right. Join the Georgia Tech Facebook group. Get in touch with Georgia Tech Viking, Jonathan Christine. He usually has tickets that people donate to him. There you go. There's another great avenue. Check in with me. Check in with him. I don't know if the one ticket the guy was offering me is still available, but anyways. So yeah, a lot of great things going on. I mean, this to me, it's like the best time to be a Georgia Tech fan. I get the ACC championships and stuff with Paul, but now you're building this sustainable system from the ground up outside of football. There's only so much, and we've kind of not wanted to talk about it, but there's only so much X's and O's are going to get you. You got to get in the Jimmies and the Joes. And how do you get in the Jimmies and the Joes? Facilities, money, amongst other things. But those are the two big ones. I'll give you a perfect example. Because we're playing a Thursday night game, I'm going to the Kennesaw State game Saturday. And I'm going to give that AD hell. He might be my new enemy. Kennesaw State made this decision to go to the big boy level of play, go into Conference USA. No plan. Their coach, I talked to someone who works or is associated with their football program today, works technology. Their coaching offices are in a business park, and they don't even have the full floor in that business office. Their facilities are trash compared to other Conference USA teams. The average pay for their coach is $75,000 if you take their head coach out. They're only willing to pay a head coach $500,000. I guarantee you there's coaches in Conference USA that make well over $1 million, if not $2 million. So why do I bring that up? I bring that up to say you're not going to overcome that with scheme. You're not going to overcome that with coaching. They probably need $300 or $400 million to invest in facilities and everything with their program. They needed to do that before they made the move, right? Before we react, appreciate all the super chats. Before we react to the Brent Key press conference, I pulled up this. This is from the Fayetteville Observer. So this is an NC State perspective on the game. Justin Pope says, first night game tomorrow at Bobby Dodd. Can't wait. Can't wait to see you there, buddy. Oh my goodness. The Uncle Lou in the chat. Interesting to see you. Sir, 9 days, dummy. Well, you might want to talk to your own fans, Uncle Lou. We're going to make a special little project out of you next week. Y'all are already scared. I seen it in your forums. Oh man, Brent Key's doing stuff. They got butt hurt earlier in the season because Brent Key said something about hating Georgia, and they're like, "Oh, Kirby heard that. You really stepped in it now." They ain't saying that. What Georgia wants to do, just to take an aside for Georgia's just worried about resting people and being healthy for what's most likely going to be a road game in the playoffs. But there's one thing you got to do before you get to the playoffs. You got to go through Georgia Tech. A loss to Georgia Tech would put you out. And let me tell you something about a Brent Key coach team. You come on the field on your feet, but you go out on your back. Sure, we'll have a lot of fun leading into that game, Lou. Maybe we'll even do something together. Who knows? Anyways, back to this. We got to focus on NC State right now. Will the NC State defense be able to handle Georgia Tech's quarterback, Haynes King? That is not what I think their number one worry should be. Their number one worry should be, can they move the ball on our defense? Georgia Tech's offense is MacGyvered together at the moment. King exited the Yellow Jackets upset win against number 4 Miami, but before he left the game, King had 93 rushing yards and a touchdown. He did. He can throw the hell out of a screen right now. Doesn't appear he can throw really beyond the line of scrimmage, though. True dual threat quarterback. Yeah, we know about Haynes King, right? We know about Haynes King. What are they saying? If the Wolfpack wants any chance for an upset, it starts with limiting King as a runner. That is true. You cannot let Haynes King go off for 100 on you. That's for sure. That would mean we get that we've just controlled time of possession in the game. And let me just say this. This really is a game Georgia Tech should be able to come out and dominate from start to finish. Or maybe not dominate, but you should be able to handle this game start to finish. I feel like I'll learn something else about this team. If you let NC State hang around in this thing, you're asking for trouble. Asking for trouble. NC State versus Georgia Tech turnover margin. So if you watch my preview video, NC State has a turnover problem. They're playing a true freshman quarterback. He puts the ball on the ground a lot. They're like 124th in fumbles lost. So that would be probably goal one for them. They got to protect the football. The Yellow Jackets may have one of the best teams in the nation at taking care of the ball. Sitting second nationally with 6 turnovers, 4 interceptions, 2 fumbles. But in its last 2 games, Georgia Tech combined for 4 turnovers against Notre Dame and Virginia Tech. And NC State needs that trend to continue Thursday. Wolfpack has struggled to stay on the positive side of the turnover margin with 18 turnovers, 10 fumbles, and 8 interceptions through 10 games. That puts them 108th nationally in ball security. Yeah, I mean, Tech has turned the ball over, quite a bit against Notre Dame and Virginia Tech, but we've really changed the game plan from them. I mean, we're going to come out running the football with Haynes and Jamal Haynes. Now, I don't know anything about the health of, there you go. Zach Jones can get you 2 tickets. Well, KN from Cyrene, I don't have 2 tickets, but we have said maybe reach out to Zach Jones, maybe reach out to GT Bowhunter, but the Facebook groups are a good place too. All right. I don't think we're going to have a turnover issue tomorrow, though. Their score prediction: Georgia Tech 30, NC State 23. I think I gave a score prediction of like 28-17. And I would stick with that. I mean, obviously that would have us covering by a good margin. They've got it Georgia Tech 30, NC State 23. The Jackets will remain undefeated at home. That would be, I didn't even think about that. We handle business against NC State. We are undefeated at home this year. That would be a good bit of trivia. Does anyone in the chat know when the last time Georgia Tech was undefeated at home was? Now, it's weird because we did lose at Mercedes-Benz, but that wasn't at Bobby Dodd. The Wolfpack, anyways, the Yellow Jackets remain undefeated at home, being behind a big effort from quarterback Haynes King. Again, I get that this is a North Carolina publication. They're overlooking the bigger, I guess, hurdle to jump over, which will be the Georgia Tech defense. The Wolfpack will head to Chapel Hill for the regular season finale, needing to win to play in the postseason. And that's the whole thing. So, by the way, 1990, 1998, 1999. So was it 1999? I don't know the answer. I'm going to assume 1999 when Brent was a junior. How about that? And good to know. I would really call our recent turnovers a trend. They've all been backup quarterbacks in what was essentially garbage time. I don't think it was garbage time, but it has been backup quarterbacks. All right. If you haven't heard the good news, what's the good word? Other than to hell with Georgia and to hell with them. Evidently Mac Brown, or it's come out that Mac Brown evidently intends to stay with North Carolina. Now, things could change, and I don't know that I really believe that, but it would be hilarious. Basically, what that tells me, if they're saying, okay, Mack Brown's going to stay, doesn't intend to step down from North Carolina, that tells me they don't have any confidence in who they can hire right now. That's what that tells me, which is crazy because they were ready to fire this guy, and I guarantee you they started talks after the JMU 70-50 loss. That will also mean, most likely, Jeff Collins keeps his job for another year. That son of a bitch. That suits me just fine, though. All these teams that Georgia Tech is their daddy, like Miami, North Carolina, they dodge us for at least 3 years moving forward, or 2. I know North Carolina dodges us for 4, so good luck with that. It just continues to confirm that UNC's admin hates football. Hey, I went on one of their shows before we played North Carolina, and they basically told me that. They said their administration cares more about Olympics, Olympic rowing, basketball, which actually doesn't make them the money you would think. And yeah, maybe that's something else. That's a good idea, Bow Hunter. Let's look at what bowls we could possibly get into. Let's look at what bowls we could get into. I'm gonna cut this out for a second. I know there's been some articles, and then we'll look at the Brent Key interview. Appreciate the $5 from Zach Jones. Says fun fact. Appreciate the $5. Georgia Tech is 5-0 this year when Jamal Haynes has 75 or more rushing yards and 1999. Well, I'm hoping that he's healthy. I don't know. But let's look at some of these bowl projections. Now, before I look at any of this, my ideal bowl situation would be Florida. Florida's most likely going to go to a bowl with a win over FSU. And it would just be hilarious. And I'm not at all confident we win that game. I'm just saying if we did, we'd have a clean sweep of the state of Florida. So what am I seeing here? Cheez-It Bowl, Pop-Tart Bowl. Well, I tell you what, put in the chat, who would you want to play in a bowl that it's realistic that Tech would play in a bowl? Belka Bowl would be fine. Pinstripe Bowl. Well, I can tell you. Well, you know what? I said I'd never go to New York, and damn it if I didn't do it. All right. What a crappily written article. Organize this where I don't have to read the whole thing. So this was 3 days ago. With 2 weeks to go, where do the national projections have Georgia Tech going? ESPN analyst Kyle Baloney and Mark Schlasla-Woo are in agreement as to where Georgia Tech will head. Both of them have Georgia Tech going to the Fenway Bowl, the Wasabi. Yeah, Fenway Bowl against Tulane. That would be good. I wouldn't mind playing Tulane. Doesn't one of Bryce's, what's that guy's name? Isn't he a Tulane fan? Something like that. Isn't Dr. Bob a Tulane fan? After beating Navy yesterday, the Green Wave move up in the poll to number 20 and are still in contention to land a group of 5 playoff spot. If things break their way, Tulane is 9-2, has 1 game remaining this year, is against Memphis. Georgia Tech leads the all-time series. The last meeting between the two programs was 2015, and Tech won 65-10. Wow. 247 Sports, Brad Crawford has Tech going where? First Responders Bowl in Dallas against Toledo. Don't like it. Rockets are 7-3. Much in contention for the MAC title. Yep, I like playing Tulane better. Josh, I want to play Michigan. Oh man, being from South Carolina. Well, South Carolina is going to get a better bowl. In fact, South Carolina. So I talked with my dad before I came on, like right before I came on. South Carolina is a team that if you're a really good team, like, you don't want to play right now. Tucker Gleason's Toledo Rockets. All right. So the win against Miami last weekend got Georgia Tech bowl eligible for the second straight season. Yeah. Is that all the predictions we get? All right, and shout out to Jackson Caudell. He wrote this article. There's a little honey for you next to some precarious-looking shaped objects. These guys know what they're doing. All right, so let's look at this. Is it the most recent? Is it the most recent Brent Key press conference you want me to react to? From November 19th. Is that the one? I need confirmation. Your vote's the Sun Bowl. You read that as Tucker Carlson's Toledo Rockets? Oh boy. Yeah, is in other words, is this the one I need to react to? I'm assuming so. That's what we're going with. Let me just look at the comments real quick. Probably some of you in here commented. Thanks for the working audio. Yeah, I don't know who does their audio for these, but they're not as bad as Inside Carolina. They only get mono audio, so it only comes through one of your headsets, or one side of your headset. Oh, look who it is. Look who it is. All right, let's see what this man has to say.
I expected to come off the elevator.
Is it a requirement that Brent Key looks out of place and uncomfortable or doing something weird? Don't get me wrong. I freaking love Brent Key, but his jokes are awful. And the only thing worse than his jokes are his math. His math, when he tries to do math, I agree with George O'Leary. Like, I wouldn't want to drive over a bridge that Brent Key built. By the way, it's Diet Coke time. We just got through with Dip 30, and I gotta grab a Diet Coke here. All right, we got a problem. We're fine for right now, but like, I'm sure GT Bowhunter knows what I'm talking about. This is my last Diet Coke, and that was my last pinch of Longhorn. So I'm about to have a problem after the show ends.
Where were you at? Bathroom. Oh.
That's how my dad looked at me the entire time I grew up. Disappointment and over my stupidity. He made that same face.
No 2 on 2.
One down here. Gotcha.
All right.
Just one who I expected to come off the elevator.
GT Bowhunter, the last time I went to Quick Trip, I said, I pulled the Parks and Rec on him. I said, I want all the Longhorn straight you have. I fear you heard I want a lot of Longhorn straight. What I said was all the Longhorn straight you have. And they're like, God, it's like 25 cans. I said, yeah, that'll do. Is that all you got? Put it in the bag.
Yeah, really. Cameras, whenever you guys are ready.
Anybody else in the bathroom?
Okay.
It starts exactly like I thought it would. Let's continue.
We good? All right.
No, we're not door dashing. Door dashing, like $20 of that is fees and tip. And yeah, I live too close to other stuff. I can just drive.
Right.
I'm within walking distance of a Waffle House, man. You know how awesome that is?
All right, so really 2 days out now. This is Thursday, and all mindset for us as a football program. So, normal Thursday procedures we go through, practice-wise, staff-wise, everything the same. So, we really got a one-game season, and that's all it is. And that's what we talked to the team about.
I also get vibes. Has anyone else thought this? Like, when you were growing up, you're like, my dad could kick your dad's ass. My coach could kick your coach's ass. Brent Key versus Kirby Smart. Come on.
This game's all that matters. We've got some really good seniors that we played in their last game at home. We've also got opportunity to accomplish some things that not a lot of teams have accomplished here in a long time. Those are all credit to our players and our staff for.
Yeah, when was the last 7-win season we had? Paul's last year, 2018, probably.
The way they've gone about the season to put themselves in a position to be able to do these things. We've had some adversity at times, and I think that's the mark of the true character of a not just an individual but an entire organization or team is how they handle the adversity and able to come back and take challenging times, challenging things, and be able to improve themselves and become a better version of themselves. So that's what we're working to do now, working to do this week. And continue to play the guys that'll play. We know we're banged up. We've been banged up, but
the first 2 to 5 minutes of any press conference are pretty useless. We're going to play the guys that we play, and the guys we don't play won't play.
Had a little bit of a chance, a couple extra days, I guess you'd say, not a real bye week, but a couple extra days to get some guys healthy. And but that's what it is this time of year. So play the guys that can play and have a good plan. The big thing is believing in the plan and having confidence.
I believe in you, Brent Key. Yeah, I mean, we know what the plan's going to be. Cram it in their cram hole with Jamal Haynes and Haynes King.
With the players, and we've been well on our way. So you practice well during the week. It just gives you an opportunity. It doesn't guarantee anything. So. But we've had a good week of practice and looking forward to play on Thursday. So,
Questions? Go ahead, Kyle.
You guys have had some guys banged up. How much did it help having an extra bye here, that third bye, to maybe get some guys back for Thursday?
It's a couple extra days. Guys, is more than guys that are injured. A couple extra days doesn't do a whole lot of difference. It's the nicks and bumps and bruises of a season, the toll of a season, especially some of the positions we're a little thin at still.
Rub some dirt on it. Just got off the Crowded Boost stream, and apparently we've parallel parked from Jeff Collins with hiring Key. That came from chat, not Bryce. All right, well, I'm an idiot, so you're going to have to lay that out for me. Are there people saying that basically Brent Key is not much better than Jeff Collins? Is that what parallel parking is?
Need to continue to get those guys in position to be the freshest they can. It's a night game, so that's again a little bit extra time.
All right, anyone who says that gnaws on their own shoulder, drools on their own titties, and is not a serious person. I mean, the only ranked team Jeff Collins ever beat was North Carolina. And do I need to say more than that? Do I need to say more? In other words, the only thing that anyone thought was worth a shit about Jeff Collins, you about got me mad, dude. Why? I'm having a good time, and you bring up this son of a bitch right here. That motherless shit. How could you compare the two? The only thing anyone thought was good about Jeff Collins was recruiting. But here's the thing. Brent Key's recruiting like Jeff Collins wishes he would. So I don't really get it.
Eight extra hours or so, 7-8 hours during the day to help that as well.
You're facing a different defensive front than you've faced most of the year on Thursday night. What kind of adjustment?
Oh, I didn't mention this in the preview, and this has given us trouble in the past. It gave us trouble with Syracuse, and as much as I hate to admit it, at times VMI, they run a 3-man front. They run a 3-5 at NC State. So it'll be interesting to see what Key has to say about that. If I had to guess, he's going to play it off.
Or are there adjustments that Weston and the rest of the line have to make?
It's really, we've faced everything really. There's
really
only 3 ways you can play a defense. You have 3 down linemen, you can have 4 down linemen, or you can have 5 down linemen.
Rec, I got a bad feeling about this game. Well, this would be my suggestion. Go get some Fireball and take a shot. And if you don't feel any better, take another shot. Repeat until feel better.
Very few play with 1. Very few play with 2. 6 sometimes on the goal line when they get into like a gap 8 deal. But no, I'm serious. Like there's 3. The center's either covered, he's uncovered, or he's covered and both guards are covered. That's the way we look at it. You have to break it down.
Yeah.
One of those 3 things. It's it's an odd front, it's a 4 down front, or it's a bare front. And you don't want to make things too overcomplicated with guys and different schemes and this and that. Well, every week's a different schematic thing. What's important is what we do. We have rules to our, not just run plays, but protect.
So he is downplaying it. We talked to 2009 ACC champion Joe Gilbert, who played the guard position. I didn't play line, so I'm going to trust what he says. A 3-man front is weird, and it's basically the equivalent of the triple option for an offensive line to face. So it is weird, and there are some adjustments that are going to be made, and we have struggled against a 3-man front this year. So it certainly is something to be concerned about. And, if you're watching this game, I would really pay attention to the offensive line play. Are people coming through free? It changes your assignments. So it can be unclear as to who you're supposed to get, right? Or who you're supposed to pick up off your initial block. What's my problem with lefties? I can't believe you would ask me that. If you're right-handed, have you ever eaten next to someone who's left-handed? You bump elbows with them the whole time. It's annoying. My reason for hating lefties is when you're right-handed and throw the ball spins clockwise. All your receivers are used to catching a ball, and you wouldn't think this, but it makes a difference, and it feels different to catch a ball that's rotating clockwise versus counterclockwise, which is what lefties do. Also, North Carolina should have another loss because of a stupid doofus Minnesota left-footed kicker.
We have rules, and rules be able to cover any of those fronts. Personnel's different, techniques are different. Yeah, but I mean, if you try to change.
Jeff Collins is left-handed. What does that tell you? Which condiments does he use while eating? Yeah, condiments are bullshit. Condiments are pageantry, and just it's just unnecessary. If a burger's, I'm not going to have this argument with you guys again. All right, I'm not here to debate the thing with you guys. Condiments are what they are.
Change what you do each week, based on who you're going against. You're never going to get good at anything. You can't do that. You can't live in that world. So, what makes it challenging is not, yes, schematically, but there's a lot of hats around the ball. They play a lot of cover 1, cover 0. Expect we'll see a lot of that as well. Good amount of movement blitzing.
Cover 0, no safeties over top. Everyone's manned up.
Either 3 to side, either way, or bringing them all. A lot of max blitz. So those are the things that are challenging. We got to be able to handle the pressure and the blitz and have answers and be able to.
So here's the thing. So I did not, I don't know a ton about NC State. Evidently, from what Key's saying, they're going to blitz a lot, give you cover 0 looks. Well, that means you got to get the ball out quick. I kind of feel like they're not going to do that as much against us, and I'll tell you why. Because we like to get the ball out quick with the quarterback. We like to throw a lot of screens. So we're not going to hold on the ball long enough, because if you blitz and you don't get to the guy, usually there's someone open, right? Second hardest position on the field is cornerback. First is quarterback, then cornerback. You don't know what the wide receiver is going to do, and most of the time you're playing in a back pedal. So is he slanting? Is he running a go? Is he running an out? Is he running a stop? They all look similar in the first 3 steps, right? And if you're manned up and you don't have any help and you don't get in position, you're going to give up a big play.
Adjust to it.
Coach, I know last year you had said
multiple times. One of the goals of this program is to always get to a bowl game. To do it consecutive years with this class, what does it say about them and the legacy they leave?
I
to
missed
do it
that.
consecutive years, multiple times. Coach, I know last year you had said it multiple times. One of the goals of this program is to always get to a bowl game. To do it consecutive years with this class.
Yeah, and I am looking forward to the day where that's the bare minimum. We're not there right now, but we're moving toward that.
What does it say about them and the legacy they leave after everything they've been through to do that in back-to-back years?
Yeah, it's a great question. I'd love to answer it, but we got one thing right now we're worried about, and that's one bowl game, and it's on Thursday night. So there's no legacies are still being created. Right? There's a lot of season left, right? And the one that matters is Thursday night, and we'll handle those other things, and we'll have time to talk about and rejoice back in the memories, or is it rejoice in the memories, whatever it is, bask in the memories later on. But we had too much work to do to be able to go out and.
Yeah, coach speak answer. I don't have a problem with it. You don't like the varsity? No. I mean, maybe that's sacrilege, but as battle tested as my stomach and colon are, it's never been able to overcome the varsity.
Compete against a really good NC State football team on Thursday.
I think you alluded to some important things Thursday night, one of them being going undefeated at Bobby Dodd Stadium. You know, how big of a step is that in the building of this program?
I have a feeling he's going to say something similar to the last one. Like, I mean, just next game up. It is weird. Like, it's almost a moral victory thing, just because we basically had 2 home games we didn't play at Bobby Dodd. And of those games, again, it was Georgia State, VMI, Duke, and Miami, right?
It's happened 2 times in the last 60 years, 58 years, 60 years. So
Never mind, I was wrong.
you know, for these kids, those are things you want to stack. You want to stack those types of accomplishments together, so that at the end of the year, at the end of the season, you can have time to reflect. That's what I was looking for. You reflect back on them, but yeah, I mean,
That's only happened 2 times in the last 60 years. Is that true?
that's a huge thing for these guys to be able to do and accomplish. And but then this game it's not played any different than the last game or the game before, the game before, the game before. Because of that, I mean, at the end of the day, we got to play one play at a time. And everyone on this team is involved in the outcome of it. Whether you're on the field playing, you're on the sideline. Coaches, staff, student assistants, student managers, student trainers. I mean, everyone in this entire organization is involved in the outcomes on Saturdays. All right, and we have to understand that we've shown glimpses of.
Hey, easy. John Burns is coming at me like Red Sanford. You big sissy. Varsity cheeseburger pressed with pimento. First of all, pimento cheese is basically a condiment, and WreckTalk does not abide. I do raw dog. I will just eat a hot dog and a bun, and that's it. Nothing else is needed.
Of being a really good football team, right? Being a great football team at times, and we've shown that we can do those things. Now we know what we're capable of doing. Right now, it comes down: are we willing to do that every single week? All right. In order to do it every week, it starts the first day of the week of preparation. All right. It continues out through the week. It's having the right mental and emotional discipline throughout not just the week, but then into the game. Playing one play at a time. Not worrying about what the scoreboard is, not being outcome oriented. All right, going out and playing our absolute tails off. And that's what our goal is for Thursday night.
Cool. Wait a second. Did Kelly Quinlan not ask the first question? I don't want to go back, but that will make me happy if that's the case.
I know sometimes when a team.
By the way, do you guys see Kelly Quinlan on Twitter? Like, I called it. I totally called it. It's kind of what my daughter does. Like, she's young. She's 4, so we're learning different stuff, and she's terrified of being wrong. And so, like, once I say the answer, she'll say it really quickly, like she knew it. That's basically what Kelly Quinlan does as it pertains to recruiting. Like, oh, did On3 just put that out? After Swarm just put that out? I called it first. No, you didn't. Shut up, you big dummy.
has a big win, like a top 5 team, for example, the next week not to say that that's happened here, but there's a chance for like a letdown. The fact that you had an extra week off, do you sense that everyone on the team's kind of moved past that Miami game and is, ready for NC State?
That was a long question. I don't know who asked that.
If they're not, they're going to have a problem, right?
Damn.
Even more so if they're not ready for Thursday night. I mean, that was 2 weeks ago. I mean, in the world of football, 2 weeks is like 2 months, sometimes like 2 years. I mean, like every day is like a dog.
If they don't, we gonna have a problem, and I mean a bad one. It's a grown man right there.
Dog's life, like 7 by 1, right? So, I mean, if people, I mean, what do you use the previous week for? Corrections, adjustments, understanding what you've done well, not done well. And that's why we have.
I'm also coming down with something, I think. I'm about to, I might just snort in each nostril like 3 vitamin C tablets. Maybe that'll work.
Correction walks at the next practice, right? But then after that, it's done. It's over. I mean,
You absolutely can raw dog it. What are you talking about? How you think all y'all got here?
hit the field last week, back on the field. I mean, that was, it was a good win. The kids understand that. But what do you want to be? You want to be a team that's remembered for a good win or a good season. I mean, that's a big difference in that, right? Teams have good seasons; those become legacies. Those are the ones you reflect back on later on, right? A good win, right? So what now? What I mean, they're good at the time, but we play a full season, and that's what these guys have to continue to understand and build upon. Is that our goal doesn't change.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, it's a good win, but you have an opportunity to win 7 or 8 games. Now, there's a bunch of Georgia fans that laugh at that, but you could make this season something. If you think that beating Miami means you can just show up and beat NC State, you're out of your mind. This made me laugh. C. Andrew K. said, WreckTalk doesn't like left-handed people. Kelly Quinlan at it first. And then you should put like Alex comes in as like Alex Farmer. I think that's his name, right? His little protege, which again, I don't have any problem with Alex. He's young. He doesn't know bullshit when he sees it. But he called Kelly Quinlan, like he commented that he's the Swami. He's the Swami of Georgia Tech recruiting, which if someone said that about me, I'd be like, shut your mouth, dude. Don't ever call me a Swami of nothing. I almost said the F word right there. It made me so mad, even thinking about someone calling me a Swami. Appreciate the $5 from Zach Jones. Said Georgia Tech started playing football in 1892. Kelly was the C. First person to ever touch a ball for Georgia Tech's offense. Chaz Goats. John Burns. MGTGA. Don't know. Eat a spoonful of honey. All right.
Each week, and I think they've improved on that. I do think they're improving, and it'll be a telltale on Thursday night versus a good football team in a good environment.
Obviously, the NC State offense has evolved a little bit with CJ
Is that Kelly? I think it is.
Bailey after Grayson McCall retired midseason.
Yeah, I do think this is Kelly, which means we're going to get it's going to be 5 minutes before this question is over.
What have you seen from him and their offense over the last few weeks as they've kind of evolved with their freshman quarterback?
Yeah, well, they're doing what he does best. I mean, look, it's not easy to put a freshman quarterback in there and have him your entire team relying on you. You want to be able to take some I call them breather plays, not have as much.
You'd like to have a run game to support a freshman quarterback. That's what you would like to have. That was the problem, I think, early on with Haynes King is we struggled running the ball. Haynes King had to do everything. And then for some reason, a lot of Tech fans were like, bench King, or not bench King, but King, King's taking a step back. King's this, King's that. And then you don't have them. It's like, okay, maybe pump the brakes on that.
Much on his plate every single play. But they're passing the football. I mean, they're throwing the ball. He's a guy that doesn't look to just pull the ball down and run every time if he doesn't see it there. I think they're doing a good job offensively, from a play call standpoint, a design standpoint of trying to keep it simple for him, where he's not having to have full field, deep progression type routes all the time. And with that, with the controlled passing game comes ability to still manipulate the clock and control the time of possession. And I think they're a top 10 team in the country in time of possession. So, still to be able to play to the quarterback's strengths, right? And still have.
I mean, you like to simplify things for a freshman quarterback. So, probably have like a dummy route off his left and then a 2-route thing, slant curl, or not slant curl, flat curl, slant curl, wheel, some simple things where once he looks over and he's pulled the defense over to the other side of the field, he's got a simple read.
Have your, the foundation principles of your football team, right? It's mark of a good team to me.
I will say this. Obviously, a coach is never going to come out and be like, oh, yeah, they're garbage. They've struggled a lot offensively, though. They might have a, whatever top 20 time of possession, but that's not equating to points for them.
The run defense numbers have been a significant leap forward from last year to this year. Looking at a defensive line perspective, in terms of growth, what has impressed you most about the step forward that unit's taken?
It's insane. The step forward that the defensive line and linebackers have taken in a year under Tyler Santucci is stupid. It's just stupid. We're 16th nationally right now in rush defense. I think we're like 30-something total defense. And then all of a sudden, we're able to get after the quarterback. What did we have 3 sacks on Cam Ward? I don't know if it was 2 or 3, but he didn't have time to just sit back there and do whatever he wanted. He did do his magician stuff and dance around in the pocket instead of taking off, and that ended up costing him. If you want to point to a position group that won us that game against Miami, it's either defensive line or linebacker. Taj Butler's been getting in and playing really well, freshman. We've been rotating a ton of guys in on both those position groups. Linebacker, like Hamilton's gotten in, Lightsley, Eford, Butler. In fact, usually Eford and Butler come in together, and then Hamilton and Lightsley will come in together, or Tatum and Eford will come in together. They've been phenomenal. Chaz Goat says it's been a long time since we kicked a field goal. I'm really nervous about what's behind the curtain. Anytime we have to kick, I get nervous. Whether it's punting, usually that's the most nervous I am. Punting or kicking field goals, it's just like like my ex-wife used to do this. Like if she got a text or an email and she was like afraid to read it, she would have me read it. That's how I feel about like, okay, just tell me if we got the punt off. Just tell me if the kick was blocked. I don't want to watch it. Appreciate the $5 from Josh Pittman. Says Tech just offered KSU's punter who is up for multiple awards. Is that true? Wow. Again, if you didn't know, I'm going to be at the KSU game. They're playing FIU, I think, Saturday. And because I need, that I love to hate, and I need a target to hate right now. An individual, not an institution like the University of Georgia.
Well, we spent a lot of.
I bet you Tooch gets a bump at the end of this offseason. We did it with Buster Faulkner last year, and it's well deserved. In fact, I guarantee you, there's a lot of teams looking for a defensive coordinator, and Tooch is on their list.
Time in the offseason, building the depth,
and Kelly was the first to report it. We need to make a shirt. Kelly had it first.
Developing the depth. The unselfishness is one thing that jumps out. I mean, you're not looking for guys that want to get stats and have things on paper. You want guys that want to play within the scheme of the defense. And that starts, with the way Tyler presents and installs it. Then he goes from there to really the way Jess coaches and teaches it. And then, it's in that room where, the position coach, in this case Jess and Kyle Pope.
Yeah, we haven't talked a lot about them. Shout out to Jess Simpson. When I rushed the field, I was like filming myself, and if you watch back that video, you can see Jess Simpson kind of over my right shoulder, and he definitely didn't want any part of that. He was definitely nervous, like, okay, can I just, he wanted to do like the Homer Simpson meme where he just, dissolved into the bushes behind him. He did not want to be in a WreckTalk video. He did not.
Speaking of injury reports, but where those guys have created a total buy-in to the defense, right? And the unselfishness they play with to allow the linebackers and safeties, to make the tackles. And once you start seeing success and you start seeing improvement, that's the thing, man. Like, we're still dealing with 18, 20, 22-year-old kids, right? They've got to be able to see themselves have success. You got to show improvement. Right? We ask them to do a whole lot every single day. So for them to do it and not see the improvement, you're never going to get buy-in. So for them, once they start to feel the defense improvement and the success that the defense has, there in turn the success that the team has, it's a lot easier to get the buy-in from to do what they're supposed to be doing. And at the end of the day, that's what we want. We want every single person to just do their job. Right? You need to worry about what the backers do, or if you're O-lineman with the running back, just do your job.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this on this channel for a long time. You just do the next right thing, do your job. Good things are going to happen. There's a nuanced point in there that is probably lost on a lot of people that watch this. He talks about the unselfish play of the defensive line. I actually heard Ray Lewis talk about this, about why defensive holding on the defensive line, you don't see it called much, but why it's a thing. So if you're, I don't know, you're playing guard, they might have a good defensive tackle, and you're going to double team him with guard and center, and then you're going to rub off and pick up the Mike or maybe the Will linebacker. So what would happen is one of your defensive linemen would hold that offensive lineman so that he can't get off and go pick up the linebacker. Kind of the point of what Key's talking about with unselfish defensive line play, of just, you don't have to get to the ball, but make them commit, either one or two linemen to you so that you can free up a linebacker to fill that A gap or the B gap and make a tackle.
Right. Let the others worry about their job, and if collectively we can.
Oh, you're joining from 35,000 feet? Well, shout out to George P. Burdell.
Do that. Everyone just does their job and does the best they can do. Right, you're gonna have a chance.
Taking Rod's running back question, so hope that's okay, Rod. What's it say about Trey Cooley to persevere and put himself in position to contribute?
He got lit the F up. And I'm still salty, like, man, all those Miami fans and, oh, that wasn't targeting, and they were all happy about that. It's a circumstantial thing, though. Like, he got lit up like that and took a big shot because of a awful face mask. Without that, then, yeah, it's probably not targeting. But whatever, you can't convince them of that.
Yeah, I think that's one of those questions that, first off, I'm very proud of Trey. Right, he's gone through a lot this year, and never once did anyone in this program waver on Trey Cooley. Right, we've been there with him and want to make sure he has what he needs to be successful 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now.
Also, side note, he probably only played against Miami out of circumstance and necessity. We had Jamal Haynes get banged up, and then Chad Alexander. And I think even another kid. What we wanted to do with Cooley, he probably qualifies for a medical red shirt this year with the concussion he suffered in the opening play of FSU. I think the only reason he played is because we're running out of running backs,
Right, not necessarily in the moment as it is, but I think that's one of those questions you probably ask the locker room, ask the players. I think that'd be interesting to ask the players that, because what we do as coaches pales in comparison to what takes place in that locker room, and how they have a brotherhood and a lean on each other, and it's not always smooth and nice and easy. I mean, they're going to tell them what they need to hear, but I think that'd be a good question to ask the locker room.
Yeah, shout out to Trey Cooley. Chaz Goat's right. Chaz Goat says, just thankful he came out of that play unscathed. What a tragedy he had he got knocked out. Yeah, coming in off concussion protocol. And I'll tell you why it's BS, what these Miami guys are saying. Let us rip Cam Ward's face mask down like that and then light him up like that and see if they think that that's a, fair play.
Thursday nights here are usually pretty special games and the atmosphere and stuff, and you get the full attention basically of the college football audience. Just kind of, can you talk a little bit about Thursday night games at Bobby Dodd and kind of your memories and the specialness of those games?
Yeah. So as far as getting the attention of everybody, like that's, I mean, we go play in Piedmont Park if they let us. I mean,
Didn't they stab a girl to death and her dog in Piedmont Park, or was that Centennial Olympic Park? You got to be careful what part you're talking about playing in Atlanta. It can get kind of rough out there.
It's not about the other people seeing it. It's, if you're doing it the right way as a player. You're worried about what your teammate, all right, what the guy next to you does. You're worried about how you play. All right, scoreboards don't matter, so watch the TV cameras. Right. Now, on the flip side, for the exposure that you're trying to get in a program, we've had a lot of unique opportunities this season to get really good exposure for Georgia Tech.
Yeah, we started with FSU was obviously that. And honestly, Miami ended up being that because there were no other noon games that were really worth watching at that time. I think that game went from like 3.5 to 5.5 million viewers. Like, that's a big deal.
Right.
And also, it can't hurt recruiting, can it? We had a ton of recruits out there. They end up seeing the pinnacle of college football, which is a big upset, top 5 upset, goalpost coming down. It's got to be good for recruiting, right? Couldn't have come at a better time.
Not just Georgia Tech football, not just Georgia Tech athletics, but Georgia Tech as a school. Then in turn, that bleeds into the Georgia Tech athletics as a whole, and then into the football program. And if the football program can be any sort of vehicle to get more positive exposure, and rightfully so for Georgia Tech, right, then we're going to take that opportunity every single time. I have a lot of really good memories of Thursday night games. I mean, it was a lot. It's special. It's special to be on that sideline. And
did anyone else not know a lot was 2 words? I learned that recently. It shocked me.
Nighttime and the lights in the buildings and in the city, and there's gonna be a little crisp breeze in the air.
Oh yeah, you better bring a jacket or something. It's gonna be cold tomorrow. I think the low's in the 30s tomorrow night, so gonna want to have some long sleeves on. I'll tell Macho Wreck.
Thursday and a clear night. It's one of the first places they started doing it at. I mean, it's been over 40 times now. There's been Thursday night games. And that's what I want these guys to understand, because in a few weeks, the 2024 Georgia Tech football team won't exist anymore, right? It'll only be on a piece of paper. It'll only be in memory. Like,
I don't think there's any stipulation. Chaz Goat's saying, is there any stipulation against a medical red shirt? Well, I mean, shit. Miami has a guy playing in his 10th season with 14 medical red shirts. So, I don't think there's any stipulations on anything anymore. And if they do, you just say antitrust law, antitrust, and then you just get what you want. Or that's how college football has gone.
Like I told the team today, it'll only be when they get back together again. All right, so when they do get back together, I want those guys to have the chance to share a lot of really good memories of this season, one of them being their final game at home in front of our fans and our students who have been unbelievable this year.
Yeah, shout out to the student section, baby.
Our fan base, the way they've come out.
He's talking about us, guys. We got shouted out in the Brent Key press conference. He's talking about us. Hell yeah.
The how loud they've been, all right, and our students to have the buy-in and the connectivity between the team and our students. They'd run through brick walls for our students right now. I mean, they would truly, because they know how much that means to us, and to have a lasting memory of that being on Thursday night, for the rest of the country to see our fan base, see our students, and how important it is for our students to be the best student section in the entire country. All right, those are the things that are cool.
Yeah, I mean, again, I've said it probably 100 times after the game. That's the most insane noon environment game I've ever been at last week at Bobby Dodd of any team, not just Georgia Tech. I'm talking about ever.
When we talked to Jackson Hawes, he said one of the things he really liked about coming here was the fact that the players show each other tough love, when mistakes are made or that type of thing. Is that something you notice as a coach? They're holding each other accountable.
I don't know where they get it from. So.
Yeah. Brent Key doesn't F around. Brent Key is the definition of hard love.
I try not to go in the locker room. Right? I think the locker room's a sacred place. The locker room's a special place for the players. To the point where when I became the head coach, I mean, I sealed up the door to the coaches' locker room in there so the coaches don't go through there. That doesn't mean we don't have people in there. It don't mean we don't, keep eyes on, things going
Yeah, you just never go in the locker room. They're all going nuts in there.
the right way. But that's a sacred place in there. I mean, I want those guys to be able to do that. Right? That's where people talk about the word culture. That's where culture is created, right? Or that's where culture is not created. Right? That's where culture could be ruined, is in the locker room. Right? And if you're going in there and impeding on their time in their locker room, trying to find out what's always going on, you're never going to get a real feel for it, and you're going to get you're probably not going to get the holding each other accountable as much. So again, that's probably a player question, more so than to me. But that's what it's about. When you tell a team they have ownership in something, right? Well, that's a tremendous responsibility that comes along with it. And the more they understand that, and they understand that what they do and say with other players impacts what happens on Saturdays, right? Then you have more guys starting to speak up.
Yeah, culture's important. I'm not calling anyone out. Seems like LSU might have some issues at the moment, though. Can Macho Rex somehow show up and be leading the Goldfellows? I don't know, man. Gold paint, stretchy pants. I'm definitely not going to have paint on. I don't know. Maybe I can work my way over there. You have to have, I remember this from instant, you have to have student season tickets to get in that section. I don't know. Maybe I can pull some strings. We'll have to see. If you don't have season tickets, go online, register for next season. 2 seats and parking pass, probably $1,500. Sounds like a deal to me.
Time for a couple more.
I thought it was very telling in the Miami game, seeing the depth of the secondary, and you had 2 starters out, guys stepping up and developing that quality
No one cares what you think, Kelly. That's why you're on that side of the podium.
depth and the quality of play back there. What have you seen from that group in terms of developing throughout the season and kind of where they're at now?
The versatility. It's, you can think I'm crazy, but I really feel that there's a lot of similarities in the offensive line and the DBs. Right? There's 2 corners, 2 tackles, there's 2 guards, 2 safeties. All right, there's a nickel and there's a center. Right?
Yeah, the nickel thing throws me. That wasn't around really when I was.
They all have to work together. All right, the difference is the offensive line's within a 8-yard box. All right, and the DBs are playing in a 53-yard wide box. But they still have to communicate. They still have to play together. They still have to work together. So,
Boy, we've seen when communication goes wrong in that group too. Luckily, it's further back in the season now, but yeah, communication big. I didn't really think about that too, because they're playing sideline to sideline. So if you have a communication breakdown, it ain't gonna be good.
early in the season, when we were playing a lot of guys in that at those
Agreed, Chaz.
spots, it was for a reason. Right? It was so when we get to this point of the year, all right, and something goes down, someone goes down, and something happens, we've got guys with experience and versatility. Otherwise, you're looking at getting into you get into game 7, 8, 9, 10, and you got guys who are going in and playing for the first time. That's a recipe for disaster. All right, so you take some lumps early on. You do when you play that way, but in the long run, it's what's best for the entire football team.
It's not really the same thing. I remember we were playing Clark Central, which is devastating. Clark Central's in Athens. We were big underdogs, and we ended up losing like 13-7 or something. And one of their scores was on kickoff, and we go back and we look at film, and he goes right up. It's like, I swear we're missing a guy. Like, there should be a guy there. There's just this lane for him to run to, and I didn't know I was supposed to be on kickoff team. So yeah, Rec lost a game. That's why I'm doing this.
Thanks, Chad.
Jordan Williams started 50 games for you guys. You know,
Has he really?
Yeah. Just
Yeah, he's on your roster, man.
This is
No, the last one.
yeah. What just your thoughts on him and that, and being a part of this program for the long run?
50.
Oh, here we go with Key trying to do math. This is about to go sideways really quick.
We're 54. So 50 games.
Don't just stop. Don't do it.
That's a lot of play.
There you go.
What's the most ever here? It's like, is it Sean? It's Sean, right?
No, it's Rodney Jones.
Roddy.
Yeah.
Roddy.
Roddy Jones.
That don't count. That don't count.
He broke the record for linemen. Andrew Gardner had the record for
Well, what's Roddy?
I think I'm distantly related to Garner.
52.
So the bowl game
So-
will get him there.
He could tie it against Georgia and break it in the bowl game.
What up? All right, so Jordan.
Man, y'all have thrown Key for a loop with this question. He's like the CPU is melted down.
I'm not gonna say one thing about him playing, but I remember vividly the first day back. You know, so 2020, Jordan comes in as a mid-year guy. Goes through spring practice, all 6 days of it, and we leave. And, everybody remembers how it went during COVID. Everybody's going, you're calling your players, you're checking, hey, are you doing your push-ups and your sit-ups and all this? Are you eating good? Oh, yeah, yes, sir. Mom's cooking me good.
Oh boy.
The first day back, we had scales set up in the indoor. You couldn't get near anybody. Jordan walks in. I'm like, who is this?
Yeah, Mama been feeding you real good, hadn't she? Dang. Came in like Andrew Jones when he went to the Yankees, 60 pounds overweight.
I said, get on that thing.
That's what she said.
And I think the scale went up to 360 and stopped or broke. So that's the highest read we got on him. He looked like the Goodyear blimp. I mean,
Dang, Key's burying this guy. This freaking fat blob Michelin man came in.
he gained about 50 or 60 pounds over those couple of weeks or months, whatever.
There ain't no way it was a couple of weeks. I mean, he gained 20 pounds a week this month. This is insane.
It was.
There's that Key math again. Yeah, it had to be over several months. And even over a few months, that is a tremendous amount of weight to gain.
It was the darndest thing I've ever seen out of an 18-year-old kid.
Yeah, you're laughing about it 4 years later.
And then, he's working himself to get back in shape, ends up winning the starting job then. The first game, I mean, couldn't even keep his shirt tail tucked in. He's still so big. And as any time a freshman O lineman's playing, right, they're either really, really, really good, right, or it's out of necessity. Okay.
Or they're just so fat you have to run around them, I guess. I mean, by the time they run around Jordan Williams' fat ass, then the play will be over.
I know, I think for myself, it was definitely out of necessity when I had to play early. I sure wasn't good enough. But Jordan, some of them, I remember vivid. It's weird. I know I'm rambling here, but I love Jordan Williams now. I really do.
We couldn't tell.
And to be someone that's gone through, 5 years here, 50 games, I guess you say, and what he's gone through in a program, and stuck with it. And I'm sure he's had opportunities to leave many times and go wherever he wanted.
Yeah, he'd probably getting drafted.
To have a guy stick through what he stuck through at Georgia Tech and be able to say now that it's 50 games he started, that's pretty remarkable to me.
Yeah, that's insane. And I didn't really think about that. This will be his last home game, and he had to, like the Shawshank Redemption, crawl through two years of Jeff Collins shit turds coaching to come out clean on the other side with Brent Key. I mean, that's a hell of a thing for a player to go through. He laments his spelling and vocabulary, but brags about his math when he's with Demetra. I don't know why Key brags about his math, because the first interview he gave as interim, he demonstrated he couldn't do Pythagorean's theorem, which is middle school math. So again, I love Key, but the math is lacking greatly.
Right, but as a coach, you remember the bad things, and they stick with you because those are the learning moments. Those are the learning moments being in the Carrier Dome at Syracuse and no one's in the stadium, and you have a 5-man protection. You're supposed to squeeze it on the front side, and you don't. And then the guy comes free and strip sack fumble. Right, you learn from those things.
Yeah,
you do, and he's learned from them over the years, and then jumping in, playing guard for us in a pinch when we needed to, playing different spots. I'm gonna miss his face around here. I am. Jordan, good kid, is growing into a really good man.
that's awesome. Zach Jones says Chase Lane posted on X saying this Thursday will be his last game at the Dodd, and he thanks God every day for leading him to Tech. I love Lane. Yeah, it's emotional, man. Your last time suiting up. First it's your last time suiting up at home, and then your last time suiting up. Let's send him out with a W, man. Send him out with a W. Well, he's obviously not a professor. John Burns, he demonstrates that every time he talks about math.
What are the emotions like for you on a senior night when you go out and the parents give you a hug and all that stuff, and you're seeing these kids for the last time on the home field? And I imagine that's a little bit emotional, even as focused as you are on the game. And I know how locked in you get on game days, but is there anything
No, he's out of eligibility, I believe.
that goes on through your head as you're doing that?
Yeah, I mean, for years, remembering my last game, remember my senior day, remember how special it was. You think about it in the moment, but you really don't understand it till later on. This is going to be a special one, though. So might have to give you a hold and wait and give you that answer later on. Just think about last year. I'm saying, Jay King, Dylan, all the guys that just last year had meant so much to this program. And
Weston Franklin, too, right? Center. This will be his last one.
then you got the guys that come in for 1 year. You got the, last year Connor. I mean, Jackson, Warner. I mean, these guys that are 1 year guys that come in but really become part of, our culture and our program, right? And I don't care if you're here 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, whatever Jordan's been here, but or you're as old as Sylvain, or you've been here for 1 year like Jackson. I mean, when you go through the program and you leave here, you're a Tech man, and that's important to me.
Okay. Thank you, Coach.
That's it? Yeah. All right, see you. Thanks. Go Jackets!
All right. Well, man, that kind of tugged on the heartstrings there at the end. I really wasn't thinking about this being these kids' last home games. And look, kids that have been through a lot that have been at Tech for 4 years. Going through a coaching transition. I'll set aside the Jeff Collins hate. Just going through a coaching transition in general is tough. Not exactly the same, but like when the guy that hired you leaves, and now it's like you got to prove yourself again to this guy, right? Now, it wasn't exactly the same because Key had been there before, but it's you get thrown into another phase of, all right, I got to prove myself again, right? And then even in Key's interim year, you go down. Sims goes down and never comes back, transfers out. Zach Pyron comes in and looks really, really good. Leads us to a victory against Virginia Tech, breaks his collarbone, and then you go through all of these things. Get to your first bowl, get into this season. I agree with Key. It's going to be something special, and hell, it's almost got me emotional. I love this team. I love this school. I love these players, and a lot of times we don't really consider, man, what these kids have given up. And look, I get they're paid and there's NIL and all this, but they're giving up their bodies out there, man. They're going to be injuries that probably most of these kids have that are going to linger with them at some point for a decade or longer, right? And they did that to entertain us. So that's probably a good place to end it. Let's send these boys out with a W tomorrow, pack the Dodd. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I'll see you guys later. Y'all have a good one.